September 17th, 1944. Hundreds of aircraft prepare to launch the largest airborne assault of the war.
Inside the aircraft, paratroopers sit shoulder to shoulder, waiting for the signal to jump.
A massive air armada crosses the English Channel, carrying thousands of airborne troops toward the Netherlands.
As the formation reaches the Dutch coast, German anti-aircraft guns open fire.
Inside the aircraft, the jump light finally turns green!
Within seconds, paratroopers begin dropping from the aircraft in long lines across the sky. Suddenly, hundreds of parachutes bloom open across the Dutch sky.
German soldiers on the ground quickly open fire at the descending paratroopers.
The paratroopers drift toward open farmland, searching for safe landing zones.
Within moments, the first soldiers hit the ground and begin gathering their equipment.
Across the drop zones, scattered paratroopers scramble to free themselves from their parachutes.
Small groups begin forming as soldiers search for their units and officers.
High above the fields, transport aircraft release the heavy gliders. The gliders slam into the landing zones, skidding across rough farmland.
Across the landing zones, airborne soldiers rapidly assemble into combat groups. Small airborne patrols begin advancing toward the city of Arnhem.
In nearby villages, Dutch civilians watch the sudden arrival of Allied paratroopers. German troops quickly react, setting up defensive positions along the roads. The first firefights erupt as airborne troops encounter German resistance.
Airborne troops push forward despite the sudden German resistance. The airborne columns move quickly through farmland toward their objective. German reinforcements rush toward Arnhem as reports of the airborne invasion spread.
Within hours, German armored vehicles begin moving toward the fighting.
The lightly armed paratroopers now face armored opposition.
Paratroopers quickly prepare anti-tank weapons as German armor approaches. The lightly armed airborne soldiers prepare to stop the advancing vehicle. Despite resistance, airborne troops push deeper into the streets of Arnhem. A small group of paratroopers moves toward the vital bridge. Against the odds, the first airborne troops finally reach the Arnhem Bridge.
Airborne troops quickly occupy buildings near the bridge to secure defensive positions.
Machine guns are placed to cover the roads leading to the bridge. German infantry begin advancing toward the airborne positions. Heavy firefights erupt around the bridge as German forces attempt to push forward.
The small airborne force holds its ground, waiting for reinforcements.
German armored reinforcements begin entering the city to crush the airborne troops.
Inside the buildings, paratroopers prepare to face the approaching armor.
The The armored vehicles open fire toward the airborne defensive positions. Despite the heavy fire, the airborne troops continue resisting from the shattered buildings.
The small airborne force is now heavily outnumbered, yet the defense of the bridge continues.
Inside the shattered buildings, officers struggle to contact other airborne units. Radio signals fade, leaving many units unable to coordinate their defense.
Meanwhile, German forces continue tightening their grip around the bridge.
Isolated airborne groups fight on, unaware of the full situation around them. By evening, the paratroopers realize they are fighting almost alone. As evening falls, the battle around Arnhem Bridge grows even more intense.
German armor and infantry attack the airborne positions as darkness begins to fall.
Casualties increase as the airborne troops struggle to hold their positions.
Ammunition begins running low as the defenders continue fighting through the night.
Through the night, the surrounded paratroopers continue fighting from shattered buildings.
German troops tighten their positions around the isolated airborne defenders.
From their defensive positions, paratroopers watch the dark streets for enemy movement.
Exhaustion spreads among the airborne soldiers after hours of continuous fighting.
Still, the paratroopers hold their ground, hoping Allied forces will reach the bridge.
At dawn, the destruction around Arnhem Bridge becomes painfully clear. German forces regroup during the morning and prepare new assaults. Inside the ruined buildings, paratroopers prepare for another day of fighting.
German infantry launch fresh attacks against the airborne positions.
By the second morning, the defenders are heavily outnumbered, but still holding the bridge.
German forces intensify their assault, pressing closer to the airborne positions.
Inside the buildings, the defenders are forced to retreat from room to room.
Casualties continue to rise as the airborne defenders struggle to hold their ground.
Still, the paratroopers wait for Allied ground forces that have yet to arrive.
By midday, it becomes clear that the airborne troops are nearly surrounded.
The defensive positions around Arnhem continue to shrink under relentless attacks.
Airborne commanders realize the bridge can no longer be held.
Under cover of darkness, the remaining paratroopers prepare to withdraw. Small boats begin ferrying survivors across the Rhine River. Many exhausted soldiers must swim across the cold river. Exhausted survivors finally reach the southern bank of the river. Across the river, the city of Arnhem remains in German hands.
The airborne divisions have fought bravely, but failed to hold the bridge.
The ambitious plan to break into Germany through Arnhem has failed. Yet the courage of the airborne soldiers at Arnhem would never be forgotten.